Hello and welcome to another in our series of Every Superhero Needs a Sidekick. And today we have Habib from the team at Fluidly with us, and we're going to be exploring what Fluidly is, how we can benefit from using it, and how they might be able to help our businesses grow with access to funding. Fluidly sits right at the end of our app stack. Once all of our numbers are in and approved in Xero and QuickBooks, its main focus is on cash, but it touches on a number of different points along the way to help us manage cash balances and forecasting and just genuinely help us plan our future. So Habib, welcome on board today.
Yes, thanks for having me, Steve.
So let's break the ice a little bit. So who are you? How long have you worked at Fluidly, and what's your background?
So my name is Habib Parkinson. I worked at Fluidly since October 2020, so almost dead on a year now. And my role is an account manager. So I look after our partners and our clients that use the software.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us. So let's crack into Fluidly a little bit. What is Fluidly?
In short, Fluidly is a cash flow tool. So it's not just a cash flow software that it offers, but in addition to that, we offer a credit control feature as well. We also have a scenario planning feature. So if you're going through a situation where, let's say, for example, you're looking to buy a new bit of machinery, you want to see how it's going to impact your cash flow, we have a tool that can build that as well. And last, we also do funding. So we act as a commercial brokerage to help people find finance for whether it's growth or sort of easing debtors and creditors as well.
So why do we need that? Why do we need Fluidly? What does it help us do? And who is it really for? Who's your ideal clients?
Yeah, so anyone who is ideal client is anyone who's slightly concerned with their cash flow. So especially since the pandemic, there's been a big focus on cash, and cash flow has been major importance to businesses of all sizes. So whether you're a relatively small SME to sort of larger corporates, cash flow has been sort of a main topic of discussion. So why you need it? If you are looking after your cash flow, something you're worried about on a relatively constant basis, use Fluidly, and we'll be able to help you manage your cash flow and see where you're might need more money or what you're going to run out of money. You're able to see that within sort of 3 or 12 months time period using Fluidly.
Brilliant. So this series is all about the app stack. And as I mentioned in the intro, I think you guys sit kind of towards the end of our app stack in terms of data entry, processing, approvals, reporting, etc. In terms of the app stack, how does Fluidly work? How does it integrate in?
So we integrate with Xero and QuickBooks. So I think if you want to look at your app stack as almost like a pyramid, Fluidly will sit on top. So you've got your data entries, and you've got your Xero and your QuickBooks. And what we do at Fluidly is we sit on top of all of that, take the data, crunch the numbers, and display to you a cash flow forecast.
Incredible. Do we need to build a cash flow from scratch? How does that part work?
Not at all. So it's completely automatic. So we take the data that sits in your QuickBooks or your Xero, and we will display the cash flow for you as well, based on predictions and the AI in the software as well. So, for example, if you have a regular payment that goes out, where it could be your rent or a salary payment, we'll pick that up and forecast that forward for you, all done automatically.
Amazing. So a level of AI and machine learning involved in this. This is it's exciting. Let's see a demo. What can we see?
Yeah, so what I'm just going to do now is share my screen. So this is the first page you'll see when you log on to Fluidly. So it's essentially not a dashboard, so it gives you a snapshot of your current position. So what you're able to quickly see is things like your opening cash here. So you've got like the actuals that sit in your Xero or your QuickBooks, and you've got our forecast here. You also can see the cash going in and cash going out as well. So useful if you saw your cash going out is skyrocketing, and we're forecasting that your cash going in is going down. It's a reason to maybe be alarmed, or something to take a further look at as well. Next, you've got a snapshot of your overdue customers. So this is the Fluidly credit control feature as well. So what we're showing on this example is 22% of your outstanding debtors have gone past their expected payment date. So again, it gives you reason to chase as well. But also what we'll do is we'll show you on the ones that are late, but then the ones you don't have to worry about too much. So if we notice that you have a consistently late payer, we will still put that as a late payer, but we'll say you don't have to worry about them because we forecast that they're going to pay you eventually as well. And another great thing is this funding options that you've got here as well. So what we'll be able to show you is pre-qualified different funding options that are available to you. Okay, so it could be everything from recovery loan scheme to your asset and invoice financing and your typical bank loans. We will show you a preview of what is potentially available. Then you can book in an inquiry to speak with one of our advisors as well. Okay, and what I'm just going to do now is just take you through the main pages of Fluidly. So what you have here, just clicking on the View My Forecast button, and this will take you to the main brains of Fluidly. So as you can see, you've got your cash flow forecast here. So it's a really good visual representation of sort of where you are. And another thing that we'll do is if we forecast that within a 30-day time period, you're going to run out of cash or you're going to hit a particular threshold, we can keep you up to date on that as well. So another way you can stay on top of your cash flow. All right. Another great thing about Fluidly is we will get you around sort of 80-90% of the way there as a cash flow tool. But what we allow you to do is amend the forecast to get it to where you want it to be as well. Okay, so what you can do is you can see the cash flow here, but you can also click into these individual cells and you can make amendments where you want as well. So you can add in transactions, you can edit transactions, you can remove transactions as well. You can also add notes. So it's just so you can keep on top of, why this might be paying late or why you've added this payment in. So it's a very useful tool. We've got the AI that will do, most of the work for you, but we also allow you to put your own input in it as well. Okay. The next bit of Fluidly is also the credit control feature. So useful if you do have outstanding debtors and you're looking to chase them, you can do this through Fluidly as well. It's very simple. We work with a traffic light system, so you can see your red for your very late payers, your yellow for your late payers, and green for your more predictable payers. So the ones you have to worry a little bit less about. And it's very simple. If you want to chase a customer for payment, all you have to do is select a particular invoice, click Preview Chase Email, and we'll give you this email template to send. All right. And again, we've done all the heavy lifting for you, but you can also have the option to amend it, how you want. And further to that, you have two options. So you can send it from the Fluidly app, and some people prefer that because it adds a bit of authority to the message and it's more likely to get paid when they're coming from a third party. But you also have the option to copy it as well and paste it into your own email, very easy. And another thing that we also do is we hyperlink the invoices. So if it's a situation where the recipient is not too sure, can't remember, or is just feigning ignorance, another thing you can do is just we'll hyperlink invoices and we'll take them directly to the invoice in question as well.
So I just really like this particular feature because there's so much credit control that is low hanging fruit. And sometimes people just need a simple reminder and you'll be on the next payment run. But this is specifically highlighting where a credit controller needs to get the most value out of the hours they spend credit controlling. This is highlighted the bad payers that need a bit more of a chase. So this is really valuable so that the low hanging fruit can be automated, but this is really, really quite clever.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the time it is just, people just need a little bit of a nudge and you get this payment through. So the whole ethos of Fluidly is for you to sleep easy when it comes to cash flow, and getting in your debtors is definitely one way to help you sleep easier in that regards as well. Okay. Also, you've got the plan for the future. So this is our scenario planning tool. So if there's a particular situation that you are going through, it could be, you're purchasing a property, you're hiring a new member of staff, you're spending more, money on advertising, for example. You can use this tool to map out exactly how that's going to impact your cash flow going forward. And I'll show you a quick example of this. We do have these templates for you to use, but you can click on any one because we put all the options there on each case. But if I'm hiring a new member of staff, for example, I'll click here. And as you can see, it has this template for hiring a member of staff. So I can increase the salary, for example, by using these sliders here. I can also sort of click onto here and add and type it in this way as well. So what this is showing is if I was going to hire a new member of staff on £200,000, this is how much it's going to impact your cash flow going forward. But the really good thing about this as well is you can also change these different scenarios as well. So, for example, if you're hiring a member of staff on a wage instead of a salary, you can put that box in there. But in addition to that, yes, you hire this, on this example, this member of staff for £200,000, but is it going to be an expectation that they're going to bring in money, for example, as well? So one thing that you can do is you can add these cards on top of each other. So if I just show you a quick example, you can do adjust cash in from sales here. And then you can say, well, you're expecting a 100% increase in sales simply by hiring this new person, for example. And what this is doing is it's combining both scenarios together, and it's highlighting to you the impact on the cash flow as well. Okay, so it's a very simple tool to use. And also, if you click on other scenarios here, you can see we have all these other plans here as well. So again, if you wanted to, hire a new, van, for example, or a bit of machinery, you can see how that's going to impact your cash flow. Also, you can adjust certain account lines, certain customers, and also just add in cash and subtract cash as well. So you can really sort of customize pretty much any scenario and show how that's going to impact your cash flow going forward. So again, very useful for your planning, going forward. But also, if you're in a bit of a situation as well, a negative situation, you can use this tool to map out how you can keep your head above water and sort of survive the next few months as well. So again, this is inclusive of your Fluidly package and useful to use as well.
So this is great for one of the segues I was going to make on this one, but in this world of superhero language that we've quite cheesily added to our branding, this allows us to see the what ifs and the multiverse of what could exist. So, what if we got a new person on board? What if they cost a different amount of salary? What if they then increased sales? You can see all that before you actually do it, and you can see the future. And I mean, that's pretty obvious when we talk about forecasting. That's the whole point, to see the future. But if you can see the future, you can work out today what you need to do to navigate around that. And so exactly as you've just said, if there is a hole in the cash flow, what will you do today differently that will help you navigate around that and see success? And this scenario planner and this forecasting tool can help us see exactly how to do that. Exactly.
Cool. And the last bit again was just around the funding options. So we act as a commercial broker as well. So what that means to you is if you are, in the market for funding, one of the things we're able to do is sort of help you find that as well. So we do have the software that can show you a number of pre-qualified options that are available. So in this example here, we can see we have two options for the recovery loan scheme. We do have other sort of business loans, a revolving credit facility that acts as a bit like a credit card, an overdraft, sorry. Then you have the business credit cards, asset finance, and so on as well. So we do cover pretty much all types of funding, including commercial mortgages as well. And it's very simple. So if you did want to make an inquiry, you can just click this inquire button. But in addition to that, it's very much a service-driven proposition. And the great thing about this is if you just wanted to explore a situation or you just had a question around funding and you didn't necessarily want to go into an application, feel free to pick up the phone to us or drop us an email, and it'll be something we'll be able to help you with as well.
Amazing. Thank you. So in addition to this particular page, we have a page on our site, financebox.co.uk/funding-with-fluidly, where you can put in your company name and it will link you directly to a list of potential funders and amounts based on information that's publicly available at Companies House. And again, that would put you through to the Fluidly team to talk to you more about your funding requirements. I think that's really helpful because sometimes when you're looking at your forecast and you see you've got a bit of a cash hole coming up, and VAT is the one that we see most often, where our clients will be collecting money from their customers, they'll be using that to pay salaries, and then only 4 times a year they're asked to pay a big chunk to the VAT man, and it catches them off guard. Now, obviously, best practice would be to put that money aside, but nevertheless, we still find people in that hole sometimes, finding funding options. If you just can't find a way around that internally, is a great solution to have kind of like on hand, on tap almost. Thank you, Habib, for showing me that. But just a question on the forecasting. We've mentioned about machine learning and AI. What exactly is it looking at? How does that work? What kind of factors does it take into account when it's guessing our future?
Yeah, so what Fluidly will do is it will take a look at previous transactions, and it will kind of work it out going forward, typically on an average basis, but also it picks us on certain behaviors as well. So for example, you might have a client that has regularly kind of pays you late. So Fluidly will pick that up, and instead of forecasting that you're going to be paid on the actual due date, it will forecast on the date the customer usually pays. So that could be, 10 days late, 20 days late, 2 months late, for example. So we're constantly looking at sort of different data points in the background, and to work out kind of the best solution for you going forward. And again, there's certain situations where, if a prediction can't be picked up, for example, those again will be highlighted, and you can manually add those in as well.
Brilliant. What about one-offs? I know you've shown us on that screen for the forecasting, but obviously, like if I am looking to hire a person, then I can put that in my scenario. Does that then in fact impact the cash flow projection going forward, or is that a feature I turn on or off? What's the best way to handle that?
Yeah, so in that situation, you have two options. So you can map it out initially on the scenario planner, and that won't affect your main cash flow forecast. But then if it's a decision, you decided to hire this person, it's definitely going to go ahead. What you can then do is go back into the main cash flow forecast, find your, salary account line, for example, and then simply add in the amount it's going to be going forward. With that said, eventually the software will, by itself pick it up and replace that transaction essentially going forward as well.
Brilliant. Thank you. So in summary, using machine learning and AI, Fluidly can help us with funding, forecasting, planning and invoicing chasing all in one solution. So very exciting for anyone that's concerned about cash flow or where the next paycheck comes from. The truth is, it's quite possibly already with your customers and you just need to collect it. But if it isn't there and you still have a bit of a gap, there's other ways that we can help see that come in through Fluidly, and then maybe even solve that using the funding. So absolutely brilliant tool. Thanks for sharing that with us, Habib. This is how we use it at Finance Box. We've been plugging clients' data into Fluidly. We've been seeing how the trends and general projection of cash is going, and we're looking for those bumps in the road. So we've talked about the negative side, but we've not really talked about the positive side. There could be a surplus of cash available, and therefore we ask the question to our clients, what could you do with this forecasted cash surplus? Is it time to buy some new cars onto your fleet? Is it time to bring in a new person that might be able to help with some of that admin that you don't like doing? That kind of thing. And so we look for opportunities to reduce the low points through better cash flow management, but also see what our opportunities are through high cash flow points as well. So yeah, brilliant. Habib, thank you for your time. We're looking forward to seeing how Fluidly develops in time. You've already got some fantastic features, and I'm sure that you'll be adding to that over the course of time as well. If people want to know more about Fluidly, should they come through us or direct to you? How does that work best?
Either or. So we're more than happy to do a lot of the training and sort of heavy lifting as well. So feel free to get in touch directly with myself, and I can also take you through the product. But also, yeah, if you want to learn more through Stephen, fully trained up as well on the software. So it can also go through you. So plenty of options all around.
Amazing. So if you want to know more, feel free to get in touch or drop us a message. Or if any help in general on your app stack, please feel free to reach out, and we'll happily advise you on best practices and the right tools for your particular business. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and share. It means a lot to us. And if you subscribe to our channel, you'll find more episodes in this particular series. And if you'd like more content, then please let us know, and we'll consider putting a video on about your requirement as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Habib.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Take care.